Hey, what's up? It's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm so excited about. It is a vlog of us making tomato sauce. Every year we do this in my family. My grandma is from Italy. My grandfather was also from Italy. And my mom and my aunt are first generation born in America. They grew up doing this when they were children with just my mom, or with just my nonna and their aunt, and they grew up helping them every year, and then they stopped and we started doing it again. I want to say when I was in high school, or like toward the end of high school. So for a couple years now we've been doing it again. It's always really fun the first day, and then by the time you get to like day 4 or 5 of just doing it over and over again, we are ready to be done. But you guys are having a glimpse of day 1, so we're all in the mood, you know, to can tomatoes. And we all helped, me, Alexis, Roger, and Liza helped out to get it done as quickly as possible. And we learned a lot, and I feel like I could do it myself. So I'm really happy to have that kind of like skill under my belt too, and be able to do it when I'm older. So that's what today's vlog is. I'm gonna sit down and kind of explain the process here and like cut back and forth, just so that I can clearly make this kind of also like a how-to in case someone wants to can their own sauce. Do your research, obviously, but this is just what our family does and what we do. I have my computer here just to kind of have like the somewhat edited version of this video to follow along and make sure I don't miss anything. Sorry, I keep playing with my hair. Every year around the end of August, beginning of September, we can tomatoes. So you basically get a bunch of tomatoes, and you're about to see the process of turning them into tomato sauce that you put in mason jars, seal them super tight, and they can last you like up to 2 years. You'll see in the video we have some that are 2 years old and just starting to go bad. We have some that are over a year old and are still pretty good. But we always do it right around this time of year because this is when tomatoes are the best, and you also want them to be a little bit overripe. So tomatoes are really, really good in the summer, but you want them to be just like slightly overripe so that they're a little bit softer and easier to manipulate, I guess. There was one year when we did pick tomatoes. We went up to the farm, picked all of the tomatoes, and it took forever, and it was the longest process. And ever since then, my mom has bought them in bushels. So the bushels are just kind of like these boxes of tomatoes. One of them makes, I think, around like 7 to 10 jars, I want to say. I could be wrong there. But my mom goes to, it's called Frog Pond. It is a farm place. I don't really know how to explain it. I've never actually been there, but that's where my mom gets the tomatoes every single year. She calls, she orders a shit ton of bushels, and we kind of distribute them out to a bunch of like friends and family that have all started doing it after like learning from us. So, and then we do it for my nonna and for my other grandma and my Aunt Sabrina and whatever. So we kind of just do a huge batch of it, and we keep a ton, and then we give away, obviously, to the rest of the family. Today, we're making tomato sauce. Go get your degree, go girl. Focus on me. My mom had to go get basil. I'll show you guys everything though. Okay. There's a shortage of mason jars lately, so my dad had to drive like 2 hours today to get some. This is the machine in parts. This is where we keep them. So these are all still jars we have from last year. You would ask, why do we need more? And the answer is usually we don't. I am annoying. But it's because we are Italian. We just purchased the tomatoes, and then we lay them all out on the table. So we have 3 huge tables where my mom lays out every single tomato in our dining room. We let these kind of sit. My mom let them sit for like a week or so, and then we started, and we did it in 4 rounds, so like 4 days of canning. And you know, we started with the ones that were going bad, and then, you know, you started with the least fresh and then worked your way through. So that's kind of what we were looking for the first day. The ones that had started to like rot, you just cut that weird part off and use the good part of the tomato. So you can use them if they start to go a little bit bad. All of these will become sauce. It makes like 100-something jars. So they also taste really good. Now we wait for Romina. 'Cause she's the real Italian and she's the only one that knows how to do it. So as you saw, to do this, you need some big pots because you boil them. You need your tomatoes, you need mason jars and lids, and you need a machine. So I will try and find a machine and link it below, but we got ours in the city on Arthur Ave in like Little Italy in the Bronx. And it basically is kind of similar to a meat grinder, but the difference is that it pushes out the juice and it pushes like the seeds and all of the shit you don't want in the sauce out the other end. So it's not just a meat grinder. If you use just a meat grinder, it will push all of the seeds and stuff that you don't want in your sauce and like the skin and stuff into your sauce, which is not good. So this specific machine just pushes out like the juice and the pulp and gets rid of all the other stuff you don't want. So step one, you rinse and you cut your tomatoes. So you wanna rinse your tomatoes pretty well. You don't have to worry about like washing them obviously because we do boil them and stuff, but you do rinse them off just to get all the gross stuff off of them, and then you cut them. All the shit off of them?
Well, you just gotta rinse them.
You gotta cut all the gross stuff off. Like that. Ugh.
Even if it's, like, let's say this one. You don't have to, like, you can see by looking at it.
On the inside, yeah.
Sometimes you don't have to cut the whole.
Okay.
These ones are smaller than last year's.
We used Roma tomatoes this year. Those are the ones that are shaped like this, as you can see in the video. We've used like normal big tomatoes, but the Roma tomatoes were just so much easier. They had so much more juice in them, and they make cutting so much easier because you kind of just cut once down the middle and then chop it up, and you just need it in like little chunks about this big, and you just cut away. There's so many tomatoes to do. Salute, Chichi! The next step after you cut them, you want to kind of smush them. So you want to start softening the tomatoes before you put them to boil. This kind of gets all of the juices moving and out of the tomatoes and just makes them a lot softer so that there's something to boil, because if you just put tomatoes on the stove, they'll burn. And you really don't want to burn your tomatoes because then you can't use them as sauce. We have a machine, which is another form of like a meat grinder, I think. I don't know, my mom's friend Denise brought that over, and it made this part so much easier. Otherwise, we just do it with our hands. This just squishes them? Why do you have to do this?
It just, because then it just, when it makes it cook, they're so hard.
Softens them up.
Okay.
Gotta soften them up. Is there such thing as doing it too much? I feel like it's good.
Yeah, that's good, that's good, that's good.
Stop it. Stop it right now. Once you do that, you put them on the stove to boil. So we use these huge pots, and we have 3 of them, I believe, that we kind of cycle through, and you just put those on the thing, you cover them, and you stir them pretty frequently because, again, you do not want these to burn. You got the bad boys boiling. Oh, here's the machine. My mom put it together but couldn't figure out where this goes. So we'll see if we need it. Amazing.
Here he is.
I think it's time for a donut break. It's donut time. We, I think, boiled ours for like 20 to 25 minutes, just until they literally come to a boil. But it gets like foamy and bubbly at the top, and that's what you're looking for before you put it into the machine. Probably like 25 minutes? And then you put it through the machine. And then you put it in a jar with a leaf of basil. These are all that, we have so many left. We probably look like freaks making more.
And see how that one,
Yeah, it's like separating.
You'll see when they settle.
And this one's really bad.
Yeah, that one's really bad.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
No,
Most of them are good.
Because I got rid of the ones that.
Yeah, you got rid of
really
some.
Just
bad.
like for the back ones, I like shook them a little bit because they were far, so just wait.
so we put the new ones further back and the old ones back in the front.
So we don't even use the tomatoes for a while.
It's almost time.
Bottles get 1 or 2 basil leaves, you put 2 in every one.
I do, like, just, it depends on the leaf, like, just a couple.
Next time I'll do it, Mom.
Wow, it's really foamy. Yes.
That's so
I
good.
think it boiled for like 25 minutes, half hour maybe,
How long are you supposed to let it boil for?
till it looks like that. So now we get to the machine, which is kind of the fun part, kind of the part that's a pain in the ass. We had a little dilemma with our machine. My mom put it together and she was like, yeah, I know how to do it. She throws it together. There's one piece she can't really figure out where it goes. She's like, we probably don't need it. Well, obviously we fucking needed it and it started leaking everywhere. It does. It's that easy.
Are you sure it's that?
So you basically put it together on the inside and then it's this like big lever and you put it on, you twist it in and then you tighten the bottom and then it doesn't move. And the tomatoes come down and out as you saw in the video.
It's supposed to lock. It's not locking.
Careful. Look at maybe that little piece. Maybe this goes here, Ma. We had to turn it off. We were YouTubing, we were Googling. Couldn't figure it out. So then Liza and I realized that the pieces fit the way my mom put them on, but with the sizes of certain rings and things, it looked like they fit better a different way. And that's what I tried to do. And when I put it back on and twisted it down, it was obviously a little loose and my mom was like, no, it has to lock. So then we're spending like an hour trying to figure out how to get this machine to lock, and we can't figure it out. Denise goes and gets these like old machines she has, and we were planning on just like waiting until my mom's friend was done doing hers at her house so we could use her machine, and then my dad comes home. We're having some technical difficulties. We're missing a part, we realized. So we're trying to figure out the best way to do this without a machine. Sabrina, how'd you guys used to do it when you were little? By hand is what that motion means.
By hand, we're gonna go back to that.
My dad just got back with the jars. Denise just came back with the hand grinder. This is how you guys used to do this?
No, the machine actually has a hand grinder.
Oh, okay. Then we have an oldie,
So let's just
an
drop
old
it. and then
tiny machine.
And we just keep doing it.
Until,
You don't.
yes I do.
Look, you don't.
That.
What?
That.
You don't have a missing piece. Jeez.
I don't have a missing piece.
It's just the angle, trust me. There's nothing there.
Save the day, Ray. Save the day.
Look at this thing.
Old school.
Where does this
That's
go?
even older than
nothing's
old
coming
school.
out of it.
Yes it is. Look how much is
Yeah,
coming
this goes
out.
on.
Oh, I had
No,
it
you didn't,
exactly
you didn't
like
have
that.
this part in right.
All right, we got a
Goes
little
on this side.
Goes like this.
Yeah, that's it.
This, because the hole is bigger here, goes all the way down.
Yep,
This goes first,
yep.
then these go here. Liza did, and I did it 6 times, and I was wrong every time
And
I did
this?
it. This goes in here. Oops. And this goes this way.
That goes in there.
What about these two
And
pieces?
this.
Watch out.
they
Hang
go
on,
here.
hang on.
You gotta put the spring on for it to work, Dad.
Wait,
You might.
these go in here.
Okay. There.
Yeah.
Okay. You line them up?
They may not both go there, but that would make sense because that'll help seal it.
He basically takes 2 looks at it, does it, lock, and my mom's like, it's still not locking. Well, to lock it, you have to twist the bottom piece.
Wait, what's
That
this?
piece goes on now. Yep, that one.
Did it lock?
The locking isn't the issue. You had the things on wrong, like I told you 6 times, so the seal, it didn't seal.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This won't move once you tighten it.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Fucking idiot. This doesn't move. No shit, because you didn't have it tightened.
Yeah, it's supposed to go to the bottom. That's what it said in the video.
We had this figured out so long ago.
Man, are you alright? That doesn't move now. Wait.
I'm gonna kill you. So basically, Liza and I were right the whole time. My mom just was wrong about locking it because it wasn't supposed to lock when you twisted it in. It kind of doesn't make any sense, but basically we wasted an hour trying to fix a machine that wasn't even broken in the first place. This is the moment of truth. Liza.
Okay, thank you, Ray.
No. Liza and I had this an hour ago. And my mom told us we were wrong and wouldn't let us try it.
No, put it in there.
Moral of the story. Ooh. Liza and I were right the whole time. But crisis has been averted and now we're back to regular scheduled programming. The next step, once you get your machine working and fixed, if it's broken, is to put the tomatoes into the machine and put them through. So again, what the machine does is it pushes out juice and pulp and it gets rid of skin and seeds and all the shit that you don't want on your sauce. You just literally take it off of the stove, put it on the table and put it through the machine into another pot. So we have one on the table, the machine here, and a pot down here. And you'll see us just picture it into the machine and let it come through. What the? We're back in business for real this time, hopefully. Now that we're going, we're gonna be moving. Look how much we got. You used to do it once, Mom?
Huh?
You used to do this once, right?
I think so, because it's pretty thick.
There's a thing on top of the machine to help you push the tomatoes down because they are just chunks of tomatoes that have been boiled. And they go into the bottom pot and then all the stuff comes out the side. It's super hot. Very easy to burn yourself. Everything in the machine is metal, which is just not the best, but it obviously can't be like plastic. So the machine gets really hot, the tomatoes are really hot, everything is literally like boiling. Then about halfway through, you've got all the stuff that's coming out of the side, like the skin and the seeds, but there is still juice in that. It's not like completely dry. So we do take that and put it through the machine like 1 or 2 more times. When you do that, you want to ladle some of the juice that has been coming out of the machine into the bottom pot, into the top with that to help it go through the machine and not clog anything, because it is dry enough to clog the machine and it's not like juicy enough to go through smoothly. So you want to give it some juice to just like run it through, but you still can get quite a bit of juice and quite a bit of pulp out of that like seeds and gross stuff that comes out if you put it through 1 or 2 more times.
Why do you want I could do another time?
Why do you do this in the fall? Because that's when tomatoes are best? When tomatoes are like in season at the end of the summer, I guess. And you want them to be a little overripe.
Can you imagine if you fucking spilled that?
I would die.
You would die? I would die.
I'd be covered in tomatoes. Once you get all your tomatoes through into that bottom pot, you're gonna boil that again. You take the second pot that all of your good sauce is in, all of your juice, all your good stuff, and you put that right up on the stove again. You boil it both times around like medium heat Cover it, keep stirring it so it doesn't burn like you would when you were cooking it, and you just let it boil till it literally comes to a boil like anything else. While you're doing this, you're prepping for your next step, which is putting the sauce into the jars. So you put the sauce into the jars while it is still boiling hot. It's important that the tomatoes are boiling and are hot throughout the whole process. So to do this though, you need to prep your jars because they are glass mason jars. If you put a bunch of boiling hot tomato sauce into glass mason jars and you seal it, the heat inside will crack the jars and you will just be left with sauce all over your kitchen. They do make mason jars that you can put boiling hot stuff into, like heat sensitive glass, but we have always just soaked the jars in boiling hot water while they're open until we're ready to put the sauce in. Isn't it funny how if you put hot sauce in the jars they'll crack, but if you put them in hot water they won't?
I guess these can actually go in boiling water. I don't know, we've always done it.
I know. One basil in each. Now it is time to actually can the tomatoes. So you're gonna basically just scoop the sauce from the boiling pot and put it into your jars. Each jar of sauce gets a basil leaf or two. Throw one or two into the jar and pour your sauce right in. Denise had this really cool funnel thing that her mother-in-law had in the basement, and it's basically a metal funnel for this purpose. I don't know what you were doing.
You gotta make them tight.
Okay.
Not that Eliza can't.
What, tighten them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
So when I'm done with that, you're gonna take one of these and one of these.
And just
Glue
tighten
it
it.
on, but you gotta, and then you take these, wipe it off, and tighten it and put it in that box.
Upside down. Right. It's important that you pour the sauce up above the rim, so just like pouring the sauce as high as you possibly can. Like the jars we had in the pantry that went bad the fastest were the ones that had them not filled all the way up to the top, so they had air in them to help the tomatoes go bad sooner. The reason you place them upside down in the box is also to help them seal shut and be as airtight as humanly possible. You let them sit, they have to basically at least sit upside down overnight to be sealed, but we just kind of keep them all in the kitchen until we're done with all of them. And then we store them away in the pantry. We're down to our last go, our last round. This is what for today. This is what we've got so far. About 47. And you leave them, why do you leave them upside down? You leave them upside down to help seal the top of it shut. Last box.
That's gonna give me a little
Give us an idea.
idea of if I'm gonna have to.
How many? 68. 68. We made 68 jars of sauce today.
67, because these would be two. This would
That'd be one. 67 jars.
tiny.
Not yet.
How many jars for like one night of pasta?
One. Two.
When I make my sauce, I use 2.
So that's a whole month of pasta right there.
Absolutely. That's it? If you did it every
A month
night.
every
If you did it
night,
every
yeah,
night.
That's a lot.
I was gonna say,
And we have more.
a month. Oh, and let's look at,
And
we
we have
made, how many, Raj?
67.
67 jars. And we only used 1 table of tomatoes. So we have
You have like
this
3 left.
many tomatoes left to do. You can see how we make like 100 jars because it looks like we barely made a dent.
And
But we did get rid of that whole table, but we put some onto these tables. So technically we used like 3/4 of a table. No, we used like a whole table, obviously.
yeah, and we have those.
Oh, and these are old ones, but you can see like, yeah, this one is bad because it's separating when it sits for a while.
This one is great. Like you could still use that.
Perfect. Looks like it's brand new.
Yeah.
Great day. And Denise and Sabrina were cleaning while we went, so There's barely any cleanup. So probably what, another 2 or 3 days?
Yeah.
And we'll have done all the tomatoes.
Actually, I feel like we got way more done today than we did last year.
Than you thought you were going to.
In one day. I'm saying like last year.
And you know why?
And I didn't even.
Because of us.
I don't know what to take you out.
Oh, camera's gonna die.
No, yeah, you guys have shit on you guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. And that is how we make our tomato sauce every year. The first day, we made 67 jars of tomatoes and we only used 1 table. So we made like almost 200 jars in total, and that was just between, like those jars were distributed between my mom, Denise, and my 2 grandparents basically, and Sabrina. So we all have a lot of fucking tomato jars, and we still have some from last year too that we have to use. So basically we take all those out of the pantry, we put the new ones in the back, and then we put the old ones in the front, so we use them as we made them. It took us 4 to 5 days to do all the tomatoes. The first day we did so many, that was the most we did because there were so many of us helping. The rest of the 3 days, it was like 3 or 4 people doing them pretty much every day for a couple of hours. So they got them done in I think like 4 days, which is pretty good time. That's like a pretty quick year of doing tomato sauce. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, I really enjoyed making it, and I'm really excited to kind of just have it documented on my channel to look back on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. I've got a new light that just came in, and I've got a lot of cool new stuff planned, so be sure to stick around and subscribe. But thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.